Good afternoon, my fellow mortals. Isn't it funny how when I say fellow mortals, it almost sounds like I'm saying fellow immortals, but I'm clearly not. It always triggers me a tiny bit when I hear the replay. You know, because of my autism.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're saying fellow immortals to me, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, mouth. I was talking about me not giving a fuck about them, not. But I also agree with what you just said.
Gotcha. I thought you were saying, you know, they were complaining about your shit, but while also saying they don't give a fuck because you know that's what they do.
Yeah, that is what they do.
Just saw it this morning. Anytime you call them out for being wrong about the thing,
I don't actually
I don't actually give a fuck about this, you know.
Right? Yeah. Why are you even? Are you seriously trying to debate a rando on Twitter about this? LOL. Why don't you go talk to an expert or something? Why don't you go to, like, college? I don't know, motherfucker. Maybe because you vote. Maybe I'll talk to your ass until you agree to vote the right way. How about that happens? Do you have your tablet, Ghibli? You'll need it for the Bill Maher video, Cheap. You can such as and make the content at the same time. You don't have to be on camera.
Did you send it to me?
No, but just go to Real Time channel on YouTube. Scroll down until you see a graphic with like a gay pride looking thing.
New rule along for the pride.
That one. And turn down. What?
Changing at a previously unprecedented rate. We have to at least discuss it. Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans. Born before 1946, population of America seems to. And finally, new rule: if something about the human race is changing at a previously unprecedented rate, we have to at least discuss it. Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z. Which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054. And then who's going to buy this chair? I'm just saying that when things change this much, this fast, people are allowed to ask, what's up with that? All the babies are in the wrong bodies? Is there a mix-up at the plant, like with Captain Crunch's Oops All Berries? It wasn't that long ago when adults asked a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They meant what profession. In the wake of America about to lose abortion rights, the ACLU recently tweeted a list of those who would be disproportionately harmed by this. You would think women might top that list. No, wasn't even on the list. Second on the list was LGBT. Really? Abortion rights affects gay and trans people more than, breeders? I'm happy for LGBT folks that we now live in an age where they can live their authentic lives openly. And we should always be mindful of respecting and protecting. But someone needs to say it. Not everything's about you. And it's okay to ask questions about something that's very new and involves children. The answer can't always be that anyone from the marginalized community is automatically right, trump card, mic drop, end of discussion. Because we're literally experimenting on children. Maybe that's why Sweden and Finland have stopped giving puberty blockers to kids. Because we just don't know much about the long-term effects. Although common sense should tell you that when you reverse the course of raging hormones, there's going to be problems. We do know it hinders the development of bone density, which is kind of important if you like having a skeleton. Fertility and the ability to have an orgasm seem also to be affected. This isn't just a lifestyle decision, it's medical. Weighing trade-offs is not bigotry. Yet when a book questioning the sudden uptick in transitioning children was released, a trans lawyer with the ACLU named Chase Strangio tweeted, "Stopping the circulation of this book and these ideas is 100% a hill I will die on." How very civil liberties of him. Chase, by the way, has just been named one of the grand marshals of this year's New York City Pride March, along with 3 other trans people and a lesbian. What's missing here? Oh, right, a gay man. That's where we are now. Gay men aren't hip enough for the gay pride parade. Compared to trans, gay is practically cis, and cis is practically Mormon. And this is a phenomenon we need to take into account when we look at this issue. Yes, part of the rise in LGBT numbers is from people feeling free enough to tell it to a pollster, and that's all to the good. But some of it is, it's trendy. Penis equals man? Okay, boomer. Remember, the prime directive of every teen is anything to shock and challenge the squares who brought you up. It's why nobody gets a nose ring at 56. And if you haven't noticed that with kids, doing something for the likes is more important than their own genitals, you haven't been paying attention. Dr. Erica Anderson is a prominent 71-year-old clinical psychologist who is herself transgender and who now says, "I think it's gone too far." The LA Times summarizes, "She's come to believe that some children identifying as trans are falling under the influence of their peers and social media. If you attend a small dinner party of typically very liberal upper-income Angelenos, it is not uncommon to hear parents who each have a trans kid having a conversation about that. What are the odds of that happening in Youngstown, Ohio? If this spike in trans children is all natural, why is it regional? Either Ohio is shaming them or California is creating them." It's like that day we suddenly all needed bottled water all the time. If If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder. I don't understand parents who won't let their 9-year-old walk to the corner without a helmet, an EpiPen, and a GPS tracker. And God forbid their lips touch dairy, but hormone blockers and genital surgery, fine. Talk about a nut allergy.
I need to watch this episode because there's this black bitch,
Donna Brazile.
She's not happy.
she's a high-ranking Democrat.
Ugh. Gag me with a spoon.
CNN contributor, etc.
She just like raised her eyebrow just now at that nut allergy joke.
She was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. Really, Bill? She's like, really, Bill?
She's like, "For real? You'll do me like that, huh?" What a bitch.
Oh, Lord.
Penises are gross now, but one might come in handy later on. And if you're a man who wants to experience life without a pair of balls, you do not have to get surgery. You can get married. And never forget, children are impressionable and very, very stupid. Kids don't know why mom drinks every day or why dad has 2 cell phones. Maybe the boy who thinks he's a girl is just gay.
I finished the one, but there's still some.
Yay. Love Desu, love TV. Try to keep it as horizontal as possible. It's tilted down to the right. Now it's tilted too far up to the
Oh my god. I'm not at your angle, so it looks different for me.
I know. So really, you could only tell by looking at the replay. But that's not important right now. It's good enough.
Okay, but it's still too focused on.
Well, you just get it where you think it's good, and I won't complain. I just want to go
It's
back.
never about...
No, it's not. You're centering me way too much. You're basically cropped out.
It's your stream.
LOL, but I don't want you to be invisible.
I'm not invisible.
Alright, whatever.
You can literally see me.
Whatever, Deidre. I won't complain.
Or whatever Frasier was. Maybe the boy who thinks he's a girl is just gay. Or whatever Frasier was. Maybe the girl who hates girly stuff just needs to learn that being female doesn't mean you have to act like a Kardashian. Maybe childhood makes you sad sometimes, and there are other solutions besides hand me the dick saw. And look, I'm sure the vast majority of parents do not take this lightly, and that it's very hard to know when something is real or just a phase. And I understand being trans is different, it's innate. But kids do also have phases. They're kids, it's all phases. The dinosaur phase, the Hello Kitty phase. One day they want to be an astronaut, the next day you can't get them to leave their room. Gender fluid, kids are fluid about everything. If kids knew what they wanted to be at age 8, the world would be filled with cow.
Hey, what's up?
You know what kind of wash you want to get today?
Just a regular one. Yeah.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
Trying to upsell?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Boys and princesses. It's the Hello Kitty phase. One day they want to be an astronaut, the next day you can't get them to leave their room. Gender fluid, kids are fluid about everything. If kids knew what they wanted to be at age 8, the world would be filled with cowboys and princesses. I wanted to be a pirate. Thank God nobody took me seriously and scheduled me for eye removal and peg leg surgery.
Now the Jimmy Pin. Go to the Jim Jim Chin. TJDS. It was the first video that popped up.
Now, Bill Maher said some stuff for about 9 minutes on trans kids and the trans issue. And now, I always thought Bill Maher was a fastball down the middle Democrat, right? And so I think this is maybe a watershed moment for the kind of. I think Bill Maher has a place in our culture. He's propped up by the establishment on HBO, which gives him, you know.
Wow, Jimmy, you didn't know that before?
No, he knew that. He's like trying to. This is a narrative he's telling to his audience.
Cachet, love, maybe a watershed moment, place in our culture. He's so I think this is maybe a watershed moment for the kind of. I think Bill Maher has a place in our culture. He's propped up by the establishment on HBO, which gives him, you know, cachet, and he actually influences the culture, and that's why I'm jealous. It's obvious I'm jealous of him. But anyway, so I'm going to play this, and maybe we'll stop it a few times, because I thought this really, I predict this will shift the conversation. Right now, most people I know are afraid to talk about trans issues because they're going to say the wrong thing, they're going to get in trouble, and they're going to get canceled, just like when Patton Oswalt took a picture with Dave Chappelle that had to apologize for it.
You see Mulaney stand silent?
Imagine apologizing for taking a picture with Dave Chappelle, Deidre. Like issuing a public apology for taking a picture with Dave Chappelle. Just imagine the mindset you'd have to be in to do that.
That's a cult.
It's fucking. That's not just a cult. That's a deranged cult.
You know, all the typical things you think of when you think of a cult, that's that.
Yeah, that's like. It's
Like
not,
all those
it's
horrible
not it's not your father's cult. It's the cult from Indiana Jones.
It's it's literally the drink the Kool-Aid cult.
No, it's the Jim Jones cult. Whatever the fuck they called themselves. It's the let's all kill ourselves together cult.
Yeah, that. Sometimes literally.
Yeah, but the rest of the time, just by degrees.
I mean, you can get a group of them to admit that, like, they believe in that the human race should just like stop having babies and just go extinct.
Oh yeah,
because it'd just be better for society.
You know, your average
for
liberal,
the world.
your average liberal will argue with me until they're blue in the face that that life isn't objectively superior to death.
Huh. How would you know? First of all,
They have a principled belief that objective truth doesn't exist.
that just doesn't coincide. If you don't believe objective truth exists, then you can't say that death is objectively the same as.
Oh, they're not. They're saying I'm wrong to say life is objectively superior to death. That's all they're saying.
Yes, there is no.
Because nothing is objective.
That's just not true.
I know.
Like, the experts will tell you. The experts on deciding.
The survey says you're wrong.
Like, philosophy experts will say, okay, there are objective truths and there are subjective truths.
Yeah, but also philosophy experts will tell you the opposite of that.
Okay, but more, if you look at more, we do that all the time with medical experts and all that, legal experts.
But the consensus can be wrong, so that's insufficient. You have to do it with logic alone.
No, it's not insufficient. It's just a point. It's a large point in the right direction.
It's a big point in the right direction if the consensus is correct.
Well, that consensus is
right.
So,
well, assuming
if you use if you use logic, it falls in line with that consensus.
But it might not be the current consensus, though, among professional philosophers.
Well, when I took my philosophy 101 class 2 years ago, that was what I was taught. We were taught about objective and subjective.
Were you taught that they're both real?
Yes.
Huh.
We were taught that, first of all, there's just a whole body of philosophy that is followed by many, many, many experts, and just that is so legit that you have to teach it in Philosophy 101, which is just objective morality. Yeah, whatever you believe is objectively true is how you should fucking follow. That's objective morality. Right. And that was taught as one of the philosophies.
We call ourselves objectivists.
Yes.
It's an actual term.
Yes. And I was talked about objectivism. Okay?
Right.
And it was one of the first ones they teach you about in philosophy.
Yeah. Leftists and liberals get triggered to the very core, to the point of having a stroke when you explain objectivism, moral objectivism to them.
But it is a whole recognized philosophy by many. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's taught in it's taught in your average community college fucking philosophy 101 class.
True.
Along with subjective.
But your average Democrat and your average centrist considers it. No, I don't know about your average centrist. Your average Democrat considers objectivism a joke.
Whatever. It's taught right up there with Kant. Right up there with Kant. First, before Kant.
People just hate Ayn Rand because they hate objectivism.
They had to mention her. Sorry. She's in my philosophy book. So no, not a joke.
Uh-huh.
That's just not how the academia world sees it. Because they're still teaching it in schools. Lots of people think Freud is a joke. They still teach him too.
So many people think Freud is a joke. That'd be like if I said Einstein is a joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, he did say a lot of wrong shit. But lots of other shit. Even his wrong shit was based with a lot of right shit too. So. Like he believed that there was the conscious and then the subconscious, and that the subconscious was basically completely consisted of like all of our like worst thoughts and fears, lots of incest and just like the worst, like, and it's in everyone, like all these horrible, usually sexual thoughts and feelings, and like it's our job to like just keep that.
I'm guessing he would say is equal parts violence and sex.
I don't know. I didn't read directly exactly what he felt. I was just taught that he thought it was all of our bad things, but it was an emphasis on sex.
Okay. That sounds like it could have been completely reasonable to me.
Well, I mean, it's just not 100% right. Like there's a lot of incorrectness to that. So that's why I was.
But you didn't even read the primary source, so you don't even know.
Okay. I'm sure I have some idea. So.
I don't trust other people's interpretations of primary sources, especially when they're controversial primary sources.
Okay, well, we'll have to read some of their stuff then, I guess.
When he's wrong, I'll be the first to say so.
You forgot someone's drink, their shake. Someone's Gold Star shake you forgot yesterday. I remember you did.
I worked solidly until 4 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to keep going, but it's fucking nice.
Alright, I'm not gonna vacuum today.
Hontoni arigato. I love it when I get you to say cute things. Hey. Now we go to Chipotle. Actually, I'm gonna place my order first because it'll take longer than yours. And then we'll go across the street to Chipotle, and then we'll go back across the street to pick up my order.
You could call or place it online.
Practically take longer. I'd probably have to set up an account or some bullshit.
Do you want me to do it?
No, because I don't want you to do what I'm already having you do.
We just go to the place.
Thank you.
To apologize for it.
You see Mulaney stand silent?
Oh,
No,
John Mulaney. So John Mulaney had what? Oh, I want to cover that story. So he had John Mulaney had Dave Chappelle open for him in Ohio, and that's why I'm jealous of him because he has. It's obvious I'm jealous of him. But anyway, so I'm going to play this, and maybe we'll stop it a few times because I thought this really. I predict this will shift the conversation. Right now, most people I know are afraid to talk about trans issues because they're going to say the wrong thing. They're going to get in trouble and they're going to get canceled. Just like when Patton Oswalt took a picture with Dave Chappelle that had to apologize for it.
You see Mulaney stand silent?
Oh, John Mulaney. So John Mulaney had what? Oh, I want to cover that story. So he had John Mulaney had Dave Chappelle open for him in Ohio, and some people were upset. There was,
Maybe
I guess,
who probably didn't go to the show. Also, by the way, like not audience.
Some people tweeted that they were in the audience and they were trans and they didn't want to see a transphobe. They didn't know that's what they were signing up for. But John Mulaney has not said anything, right? People were really upset that and they even wrote newspaper articles about it. Anyway, so here is Bill Maher and here's his take, and I think it's really relevant.
AKA John Mulaney doesn't give a fuck about triggering them. He's not issuing any kind of apology.
I don't even know who John Mulaney is.
Me either.
Is he a comedian or a politician?
Don't know. Comedian.
Okay. What does he look like? Oh, some white guy. Okay, got it.
LOL, it was in Columbus.
LOL. Yeah, because, Chappelle lives in Ohio. Remember?
Yeah, I know. I just, I wish I was there.
Duh.
Wish I would have saw Dave Chappelle in Columbus. Apparently, it's easy to catch a Dave Chappelle show in Columbus.
Yeah.
Because he lives in Ohio.
He lives near Columbus. With his Asian
We have to at least
With his Asian wife, is how just
Irrelevant, so that's why I'm sharing it with everybody. And if you guys want to jump in, let me know.
And finally, new rule: if something about the human race is changing at a previously unprecedented rate, we have to at least discuss it. Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z. Which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
28% of Gen Z consider themselves gay or
no,
LGBTQ?
20.8.
He just misheard.
That's a lot.
And yet Brian Stelter stays with his beard.
I don't think it's okay to insult someone like that. Is it?
I'm complimenting him, but
I think you are.
would I like? Did you see the thing about on TikTok that there's a popular Tourette's influencers, and so there's like a whole thing of people pretending they have Tourette's. Some girl got caught because she would pretend to have Tourette's because it became popular.
Cartman
Then they
did
show
that.
her. What'd you say?
Cartman did that in South Park.
Cartman did that. And they show the clips of her faking it for years, and like she only like half research.
I need to put your YouTube channel up on my Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm gonna put your link to your YouTube channel on my Twitter.
I have a viewer right now.
Yeah. So, because that's the way that I want my idea. If I want my ideas to get out there, I'm not even gonna be streaming on my fucking account right now.
So you can just say all your shit on my platform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what a wife can do. You see.
You see? You just do your gamer streams on your platform.
Yeah, exactly. I can, and then I can put my old profile picture back.
Yeah. That will be really fun for you.
Yeah.
Because I miss your old profile picture.
I miss my old profile picture.
So do you.
It's very me.
So people actually have the illness, or like we're watching her with a fine tooth, I don't know, comb. And one of them was her brushing her teeth, and she's just hitting herself in the face.
If you want to know what I think, go watch my husband's YouTube channel.
That's hilarious. Thanks for the views, Deidre.
You're welcome.
That's you laughing just 1 second ago.
My hair was a mess. Oh my god.
You look great. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
okay.
I look a mess.
You gotta do your hair work at home.
I know, right?
Anyway, are we at the Donatos? This is Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I'm getting Pizza Hut. You keep chewing your lead, and I'm gonna order my Pizza Hut.
Okay.
And as soon as I have
Wait, but you haven't watched this video.
the Jimmy video, I've watched a billion Jimmy videos, Deidre. It's not gonna.
But not.
Okay, fine. I just want you to not be bored while I'm in science for 2 seconds, and I'm not gonna miss much. If I do, you can fucking rewind.
Find something.
You need to hold down my stream for me while I'm away.
Okay. We'll have to rewind then.
You do whatever you need to
Unless you didn't miss anything good. I'll let you know if you didn't miss anything good.
do. Be right back.
Hi.
Have the illness, or like we're watching her with a fine tooth, I don't know, comb. And one of them was her brushing her teeth, and she's just hitting herself in the face.
Okay. All right, so here we go. 28% of Gen Z. Are you Gen Z, Jackson?
Yeah, I'm Gen Z.
How are you gay?
No, not yet.
Not even 28% of you?
Not even 28%.
I thought literally 100% of Gen Z was gay. Like, this was an eye-opening chart for me personally.
Yeah, I was. Okay.
And then who's going to buy this chair? I'm just saying that when things change this much, this fast, people are allowed to ask, what's up with that? All the babies are in the wrong bodies? Was there a mix-up at the plant, like with Captain Crunch's Oops, All Berries? It wasn't that long ago when adults asked a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They meant what profession? In the wake of America about to lose abortion rights, the ACLU recently tweeted a list of those who would be disproportionately harmed by this. You would think women might top that list? No, wasn't even on the list. Second on the list was LGBT. Really? Abortion rights affects gay and trans people more than, breeders? I'm happy for LGBT folks that we now live in an age where they can live their authentic lives openly. And we should always be mindful of respecting and protecting. But someone needs to say it. Not everything's about you.
So I think this is a response to people who always thought they were allies. I always thought I was an ally of the LGBTQ community. I mean, I've learned a lot about trans people in the last 10 years that has, in my view, have shifted a lot on that. And so I think this is a response to people who feel like they're allies who still are afraid that they're going to get in trouble. But anyway, here we go.
That chart, I'm curious, like, you know, where they're projecting the chart, like, on the chart, do they include, like, people who, like, switch? Because, never mind just trans, like, there's now 64, like, genders that, remember Talia Lavin that Glenn Greenwald was talking about, where she, like, so I'm a man, I'm back to a woman now.
Yeah, 2 weeks later, she went back.
And then I see stuff where people are queer. Now, I thought that meant gay, but you don't have to be, you can be heterosexual and queer now. Did you know that? That's like a real thing.
Well, then I'm that. Then I'm definitely that.
Yeah, I'm definitely that too.
I'm definitely that. So I'm queer. Okay. No problem. I should get a t-shirt. I'm straight and queer. That's our new t-shirt. Have Mike make a t-shirt. I'm straight and queer.
Like, you remember how it was all repressed and the actor would have to have a...
What does that even mean? Oh my god.
You have to ask a leftist.
I thought I was.
No, Jimmy's a good old-fashioned liberal at this point. So
I still don't quite understand the difference between a liberal and a leftist.
a liberal is a leftist that's not as insane.
Okay.
A liberal is a leftist that disagrees with the left and that free speech is a bad thing.
Okay. Can I see the... Do you have the vape?
Sucheth of a vape? Wrong. Cheaply wrong.
Chapstick. Do you have chapstick?
Chapstick, cheap. Chapstick, cheap. Wait, I need these.
Oh, I have some.
Thanks for reminding me to use them. Such things are so hard to remember. I'm not Avion, you see.
I'm not Avian either. Hello, grown.
Uh-huh.
Her lips are never out of shape.
Never dry.
Ever.
And they never don't sparkle.
I know. Kudos to Avian, I swear to God.
I swear.
She be on her shit.
She's on her lip game, that's for sure.
I swear to God.
Fake girlfriend doing it. Now people are like, oh, I'm queer, but they don't actually have to do it. It's like the exact opposite.
All right, here's more of this. Here we go.
And it's okay to ask questions about something that's very new and involves children. The answer can't always be that anyone from a marginalized community is automatically right, trump card, mic drop, end of discussion. Because we're literally experimenting on children. Maybe that's why Sweden and Finland have stopped giving puberty blockers to kids. Because we just don't know much about...
I didn't even know there was such a thing as a puberty blocker. Did you know that, Al? I thought that...
Jimmy.
I thought that was my biology lab partner. Come on. Am I right?
Did they end it? Did they end that because it was like a condition for getting into NATO, maybe?
I thought my puberty blocker was my Donny Osmond lunchbox my mom got.
If that were the case, the U.S. would have stopped using puberty blockers. Aren't we like the founders of NATO or some shit?
Yeah, NATO is our baby.
Uh-huh.
NATO is our little pit bull that we created to strain against the chain at Russia 24/7.
Right. So, no, obviously, no puberty blockers.
Honestly, the concept of NATO is fucking obsolete.
Obviously, shit should have ended when the Cold War ended.
Yeah. Or at least like a decade after.
At least. It's been how many years?
Decades.
Uh-huh.
What, like 40 or 50 years?
Some shit like that. How long has it been since the fucking Cold War?
I think that shit was in like the 70s.
Yeah.
But max the 80s. There's no way it was still going on in the 90s. Unless I'm tripping like fuck. I know it was over when I was born.
I remember that being like a major 60s thing. You know, getting the bunkers and all the white picket fence families are
nuke drills.
Super fucking scared.
Fucking nuke drills at school where you pretend like it matters what you do when you're about to be nuked.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, unless you guys have a deep underground basement, there's
My
really
mom
nothing
said
you
when
can
they
do.
were in school, she did nuke drills.
LOL. The only thing you can do is get on the ground.
They didn't. They got under their desks.
Only thing you can do is get deep underground.
They got under their desks and they covered their eyes.
LOL.
Yeah. So that the flash from the bomb wouldn't blind them, so that they could live, so that they could, be healthier for a few more seconds before being disintegrated or murdered by radiation poisoning.
At least you can see.
Yeah, at least you can see your flesh sloughing off of your bones.
For me. True story. My mom got me a Donny Osmond. I was in 6th grade, Kurt, and my mom got me a lunchbox, which was nice because I wanted one, but she got me a Donny Osmond lunchbox, and I bet she got it because it was on sale at Sears. Because who the fuck is going to buy a Donny Osmond lunchbox? Of course, this is the late 70s, but still, I never used it. I used it used to come with a thermos, and so I would put stuff in the thermos, and then I would just make a sandwich and put it in my pocket.
Well, if you're hetero, but you have a Donny Osmond lunchbox, I think that does count as queer in the new...
I'm pretty sure it does.
It's a Big Ten.
It certainly affected me.
Long-term effects. Although common sense should tell you that when you reverse the course of raging hormones, there's going to be problems. We do know it hinders the development of bone density, which is kind of important if you like having a skeleton. Fertility and the ability to have an orgasm seem also to be affected. This isn't just a lifestyle decision, it's medical. Weighing trade-offs is not bigotry. Yet when a book questioning the sudden uptick in transitioning children was released, a trans lawyer with the ACLU named Chase Strangio tweeted, "Stopping the circulation of this book and these ideas is 100% a hill I will die on."
Isn't that weird that
I have to go back to the Chipotle.
Alright.
2 seconds.
Google something.
Right. Nani, as you Google it, Google a thing.
How does Jimmy Dore do his background? I wonder if I can do that in the car.
Right? Have like the videos above your shoulder type deal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the curtain background and the Jimmy Dore show and the back.
All that jazz. It'd be nice to be able to replicate that style.
Wonder who's watching me.
In this video, we will take a look at how you can use virtual backgrounds on ManyCam.
Hello and welcome to the live stream. Whether you are live with me now, thanks for joining me, or if you're catching me on the replay, I'm glad that you...
I've got how to do a background and how to overlay a video.
Nice.
That's all we really want to do.
Yep. Sounds good to me. If you think of anything else you need to look up, obviously it's not that hard.
Obviously. The hardest part is just figuring out what it's called.
What query to search. Yeah. You get the right query, it just shoves the perfect shit right into your face.
Exactly.
I love the future.
Alright.
Love living in the future.
What do you want to do with your stream?
Just leave it up while we go inside.
Here?
Yeah.
Alright.
You don't need your phone while we're inside, do you?
I have to pee.
Alright.
Cheap.
What did you say?
Because you're cheap.
That's not a cheap. You're my cheap. They could have seen us 1 second ago, Deidre.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Better.
It's a target-rich environment for jokes, you see. Sex, I mean. It's a target-rich environment for jokes. Still see a fucking watermark, but maybe that's not a real watermark. It's certainly smaller and less obtrusive. Basically can't even see it against the black. I don't even mind it, but I just wonder if it's appearing in the broadcast. I imagine it is. Good on charge.
It's halfway.
Shit needs plugged in. I'm trying to keep that shit mostly just fully charged. Because
it's not allowed to die.
Yeah, and when we want to take it out, like to a park or something, we don't want to be stressing about that, especially since charge packs don't work with it. the shot clock as soon as we leave the car.
Literally.
You look so beautiful today, DJ. Especially,
Oh my God.
especially on camera.
No. I could look so much better. It's not even funny.
Oh, well, I know that, but that's extra. What makes me feel like you're beautiful too.
No.
Hi. Jana, we'll be right back. Yosh. Can you check if your purse to see if such a... Never mind, you can do it later.
Everyone is so happy they're not fat. If they were fat, they would not be able to do this.
Desune.
I mean, they're overweight, but
not like on that level.
no, one still very much has it the lap.
Very mucheth, yes. So mucheth of a lapith.
Works for the ACLU, wants to censor a book because he doesn't like the ideas in it. That's what First Amendment is all about. It's about you have to guarantee the speech, the free speech of people you vehemently are disgusted by. That's what it's about. If you're not for the free speech of someone you're disgusted by, you're not for free speech. Go ahead, Kurt.
I thought it was odd that the ACLU decided to get involved in the Amber Heard marriage. Anyway, like
did they?
Seem to have. Yeah, that's why how the defamation thing. She paid them to become their ambassador of something.
Oh, but she never gave them the money.
And then she didn't pay them the money.
That's right, and she never gave them the money. All right, here we go.
How very civil liberties of him. Chase, by the way, has just been named one of the grand marshals of this year's New York City Pride March, along with 3 other trans people and a lesbian. Huh, what's missing here? Oh, right, a gay man. That's where we are now. Gay men aren't hip enough for the gay pride parade. Compared to trans, gay is...
So funny, they started the gay pride parade.
I know. It wouldn't exist without them.
Yeah.
Straight up. But now they're basically
banned. Yeah.
And they don't want to be there.
Oh my god. That's so bad.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Yeah.
Practically cis, and cis is practically Mormon. Gay men aren't hip enough for the gay pride parade. Compared to trans, gay is practically cis, and cis is practically Mormon. And this is a phenomenon we need to take into account when we look at this issue. Yes, part of the rise in LGBT numbers is from people feeling free enough to tell it to a pollster, and that's all to the good. But some of it is, it's trendy. Penis equals man? Okay, boomer. Remember, the prime directive of is anything to shock and challenge the squares who brought you up. It's why nobody gets a nose ring at 56. And if you haven't noticed that with kids, doing something for the likes is more important than their own genitals, you haven't been paying attention. Dr. Erica Anderson is a prominent 71-year-old clinical psychologist who is herself transgender and who now says, I think it's gone too far. The LA Times summarizes, she's come to believe that some children identifying as trans are falling under the influence of their peers and social media. If you attend a small dinner party of typically very liberal upper-income Angelenos, it is not uncommon to hear parents who each have a trans kid having a conversation about that. What are the odds of that happening in Youngstown, Ohio? If this spike in trans children is all natural, why is it regional? Either Ohio is shaming them or California is creating them. It's like that day we suddenly all needed bottled water all the time. If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder. I don't understand parents who won't let their 9-year-old walk to the corner without a helmet, an EpiPen, and a GPS tracker. And God forbid their lips touch dairy, but...
Dairy's bad.
Hormone blockers? Genital surgery? Fine.
What's that?
Whose parents can afford EpiPens and transitions?
Fine. Talk about a nut allergy. I guess penises are gross now, but one might come in handy later on. And if you're a man who wants to experience life without a pair of balls, you do not have to get surgery. You can get married. And never forget, children are impressionable and very, very stupid. Kids don't know why mom drinks every day or why dad has 2 cell phones. Maybe the boy who thinks he's a girl is just gay. Or whatever Frasier was.
I don't know why that's funny.
Maybe the girl who hates girly stuff just needs to learn that being female doesn't mean you have to act like a Kardashian. Maybe childhood makes you sad sometimes, and there are other solutions besides hand me the dick saw. And look,
reject that.
I'm sure the vast majority of parents do not take this lightly, and that it's very hard to know when something is real or just a phase. And I understand being trans is different, it's innate. But kids do also have phases. They're kids, it's all phases. The dinosaur phase, the Hello Kitty phase. One day they want to be an astronaut, the next day you can't get them to leave their room. Gender fluid, kids are fluid about everything. If kids knew what they wanted to be at age 8, the world would be filled with cowboys and princesses.
That'd be a great world.
I wanted to be a pirate. Right? Thank God nobody took me seriously and scheduled me for eye removal and peg leg surgery.
There you go. My hands were too small. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that, like, all the, like, chopping the dick off things are, like, kind of, you know, especially if you know anybody trans, like, that's, like, not really all, like, in fact, I wouldn't say that's advisable 90% of the times. Like, the first friend I had that did that transition when I was in college, explained that, like, well, you know, you got to be castrated, and, like, people don't want to, like, lose all sexual feeling stuff. So that's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I think it's like a hacky thing, like the dick chop thing.
The dick saw joke?
Yeah, like, it's just like, that's really, like, a lot of stuff gets blurred, and then there is a thing where there's, like, a lot of creepy, like, the same doctors who keep giving out that Michael Jackson face to rich ladies that they should be telling, don't come back here, you're done with this. There's a lot of stuff going on here, especially something like that. Like, remember I Am Jazz, that series about that trans girl who's like 12? Well, Jazz shouldn't have had the surgery. It ended up being Jazz's penis didn't grow large enough because they put those hormone blockers, and then she got older, and like it was a disaster. Like, all kinds of bad stuff can happen, and so everything gets reduced to just like a chopping your dick off thing, and you know, a lot of like nuances and things. If you really do care about somebody who's going to do that, like, don't get covered on the regular, because it's either all or nothing all the time.
Isn't it crazy that in California it's a misdemeanor to give a tattoo to a minor, but it's very not only legal but acceptable to give you know, these hormone blockers to kids and transitioning kids?
You know
not
why?
that it's always a bad thing or anything like that, but I'm just saying, you look at those two things, it's a pretty crazy contrast.
Why would you need to block hormones? Here's why. Because I asked. I knew this a long time ago. Because that's your best chance of being hot. That's what that's about. And of course, here in LA or California, that's a huge priority. Like,
I mean, if
you
you're
want to be a pretty girl, right?
Oh,
like,
you mean, so if you're a biological male and you're in puberty, the reason why you're saying that they give them the puberty blockers
to make you more feminine. Like, if we catch it young, maybe we can stop you from going through a full male puberty, and then you'll be a more feminine. You know,
you'll be a prettier
it's kind of
woman.
Like essentialism about women, really, but which.
So they'll be in their eyes. They'll look more feminine and female and pretty.
a lot of other stuff to it, but that's what the idea is with that. It's just that's a little experiment. Even giving that to people that need hormones, it's like we do this to older people where it's like you can weigh the side effects. Like doing it to kids seems really...
Well, I know this is kind of like not ideal that we have a bunch of straight people talking about this issue, and Bill Maher was a straight guy doing it, but that's the show I have, so that's what but I think it's and I just saw this video right before I went to air, so it wasn't like I could book another guest that could talk about it. And I've had very little interaction with the trans community, and so I like Kurt knows more about it than me. He has more friends that are trans and stuff like that, and so I was completely in the dark about what the trans thing was. It's certainly 12 years ago. I thought it was, I just thought it was gay guys, a bunch of guys having fun. They like to dress up as women. That's what I thought. I didn't know. But now, of course...
Drag could be that.
What's that?
Like, drag could be that.
Yeah, like I thought it was like drag. I thought it was like that, but it's not. It's different. And so I didn't know that. So now I got educated. And so now I know better.
In real life, by the way.
And I didn't know that trans people were oppressed. I didn't know that they would get beat up. I didn't know any of that stuff. And so, yeah, my heart goes out to them. Go ahead.
Well, like, the thing is, all this stuff now, this, like, completely unproductive, like, fight, and then, like, the online nonsense. Whenever I had questions over the years of people I knew, they answered them pretty openly and weren't like, how dare you even get into it? Like, I think because of stupid social media and, like, the way if you have, like, some activist group, like the one at Netflix, like, what do they say? Squeaky wheel gets the grease, so that the most like unhinged groups for some reason gets to be the spokesman. Like the media decides that, and then a lot of people don't. Dave Chappelle's friend who got bullied to death, basically his trans friend that nobody talks about, who was
that's right
bullied for being friends with Dave Chappelle, Daphne, his trans friend. It's not mentioned. It doesn't even come up, and the amount of that's wild, man. Like it's just like the thing of believe all women, except if it's
except if they're accusing.
If you really care about the people, you just got to talk about this stuff and not have this like blue versus red, Crips Bloods thing for every topic.
I agree. Let me ask you this question. This will be our exit question on this. I should have had Howie on. So my friend Howie, who's the playwright who we've had on this show, he says he's gay, and he said it's because people identify as non-binary and gender non-conforming. Kurt is making great points. The puberty blockers are to make you look passable, that you can pass as the opposite sex.
That's what the politics are the most about, passing. And that's a big thing, like, within that, because some people come out hotter than others, and there's a whole, like, of course, like a despicable industry is always trying to sell you makeup and all this other stuff. It's like, this is great, and surgery, because you're not good enough, like, it really does play into, like, kind of a sick, like, money thing, and then you get to look like, no, I just really care about these kids, and they're,
But Bill, so my question is, do you think, like, so the fact that Bill Maher, now, I'm sure a lot of trans activists, the ones who I've seen, they're going to say that's transphobic. They already were saying it on Twitter. I saw it.
Yeah, because you got to ram your agenda while you have the floor. Keep ramming your agenda until you're... That's I noticed that with a lot of kind of activists. Like, until someone stops you, just keep pushing as far as you can. But I think that's creating now... It's got to a point where it's creating a problem where you got to, like, settle down and just talk to people who have valid concerns and explain. Any question I had, no matter how stupid, was answered to me by, like, and not just trans, like, I remember years ago in New York, I used to have a joke about it, when my girlfriend, we were talking to these two gay guys in the subway, and now I didn't blurt this out to them, but she's like, you really like it in the butt? Like, she blurted something out to them, and they very, I would say politely and nicely were like, well, no, we don't all do that, like, that's not I remember being shocked, like, they don't all do anal, like, I would feel gypped if I found out. If I was gay, I'd be like, that's like turkey, Thanksgiving with no turkey.
No, I knew that. I knew when I came to Hollywood, some comedians who were gay, and I asked that same question. And my gay friend said, no, I don't like that. I don't do it. I was like, really?
Sides. We just like sides.
I was like, really? I didn't know that. Wow. So, but I think this being on HBO is a big deal. I hope that this will help open up conversation, and so people who consider themselves allies. I mean, I want the LGBTQ people to feel comfortable and be able to get employment and housing and not be discriminated in any way possible, and all that stuff. I thought that was the goal. I thought that was always the goal, to have full participation in society and be treated as everyone else. And I'm all for that. So I think what he's doing is like, hey, you know, we need to be able to have a discussion about things without being called a transphobe. You have to be able to talk about things considering that we're allies, but we have to be able to have a conversation about that stuff. And I think that's what he's saying. And I think that him doing that on HBO, like doing that on YouTube, it's not going to do anything. But on HBO, that will have an impact because that is funded and it is the establishment platform. So, and that's what I think. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe it won't have any effect. I don't know.
Yeah, right. You can see when stuff trigger. I mean, I think that stupid Amber Heard Depp case is like, basically there's a lot of Amber Heards in all of areas of activism, and a lot of load-bearing narratives are collapsing. So that's why you can see mainstream people start to. I always give Bill more credit. Whatever stuff that he said I thought was dumb, he always was a free speech guy and said it.
Yes.
You know, so I give him that as a comic. Like, you can't be I think Chappelle probably was the Chappelle wars were probably a bigger factor even than this, but this is definitely an indicator. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm getting another text. Puberty blockers and plastic surgery for trans people reinforces gender norms and stereotypes.
Yeah, right.
You can only be a pretty woman if you have a small nose, etc. I didn't know any. I don't know any. Did you know any of this?
No, not at all.
I never even heard of this. I didn't even know they had puberty blockers until today. I didn't know anything. So.
Did you ever see the Dustin Hoffman interview about Tootsie, where he was talking about how it opened his eyes, and they dressed him up like Tootsie, and he was. You know, he goes, well, if I'm a woman, I want to be a pretty woman, you know? So I said, and they're like, this is the best we can do. And he starts crying in the interview. And I started crying. I thought, how many amazing women would I not talk to because they look like... It was one of the greatest narcissist actor thing of like, how many women who have been robbed of the chance to bang me, Dustin Hoffman, because they looked like Dustin Hoffman.
They look like Dustin Hoffman.
But right there, I saw that it's that thing of like reinforcing. Well, I want to be a pretty woman. I don't want to, you know, I want the best of it. It's not just like I don't want to deal with what an unattractive woman deals with, which 9 times out of 10 is being called a man, by the way.
So thank you for the info, Anya. That was very nice. All right, so we'll see what happens. Bill Maher sticking his chin out, saying something. The audience seems to agree with him. I think he was saying that right next to Donna Brazile.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So, well, there you go. I don't watch the show, but I do watch clips of it. There you go. Yeah, and most of my animosity for Bill Maher is just jealousy. But a lot of it's legit. I would say half and half. I would say probably half is jealousy, half is legit.
Well, the thing with Matt Taibbi was really annoying. Where he's like, but what about the thing that's turned out to be a made up thing?
The fact that Bill Maher has a lot of shit-lived tendencies, right? And so I got to rip him on that stuff. That's all. And he's rich enough and successful, and he's a big boy. He can, you know, how many times I got to tell him how much I loved his book? I did love his book. I read it twice, I think. 30 years ago. You ever read his book? It's called True Story.
No, someone recommended it to me though. I remember.
It's really a great book, honest. It's about stand-up comedy. It's a fiction, but it is really fantastic. I can't believe he didn't write more books. I loved it. It was a page turner. Hey, we're doing stand-up comedy in Irvine, California, Las Vegas, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Indianapolis, Louisville, all over the place. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets.
Fucking hilarious, Bill.
Wow. Jimmy I saw a lot of Jimmy's leftist views on that video.
He has to serve his audience masters, you see. It's funny though, because he started out with a large leftist audience, And now he has a large right-wing audience too. So he's like, you know, he's doing the Joe Rogan thing.
Annoying. Say what you think.
What is happening?
What is happening, bro?
Being fed, being on the way to such a park for such a chess puzzle.
Oh, my Lando. What's bad about such things?
I forgot to, but I just moved in the back seat. Hi, she cheaply said. Hi.
Wouldn't suppose that they'll just play what's it's called for now.
Yeah. Great idea. Cheaply great idea. I'm always down for my novel.
Never. Find where it was.
Cheaply find where you were. Don't you love the little
Chapter
park?
4.
Don't you love
The
little
Tower.
park symbol?
1.
Little park symbol. The tree.
The tree.
With the green circle. The white tree, green circle, little kid.
Eddie Dean was sitting in a chair. The chair was in a small white room. It was the only chair in the small white room. The small white room was crowded. The small white room was smoky. Eddie was in his underpants. Eddie wanted a cigarette. The other 7 men, he had understood him perfectly over here, where they were two separate physical creatures. He suspected that if he had crossed Bob, he had help him with the medicine Roland really needed, although he suspected the gunslinger was right and blood test. This was the first guy again, the guy with a cigarette in the corner of his mouth. It had almost burned down to the filter. Eddie was suddenly angry.
Didn't you tell me the first book was like boring compared to the rest? Oh, Lanta, thank God. Because this was very entertaining.
Yeah, all the shit so far is extremely entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Guess what, Deidre? The whole rest of book 2 is just as entertaining as what you've listened to so far.
What about book 3?
Same thing.
And what you've seen in book 4?
Same thing.
Good. Because the first book was boring and heartbreaking.
He wrote this series over the course of almost his whole life.
So each one should get better.
And he was extremely young for the first one.
Why would you kill such a child? Oh my God.
Because that's who he is. He's Stephen King. He's the king.
Of horror. King of horror.
Not just horror. He wants to be the king of writing. He wants to be the king of fiction.
White hot angry. He listened inside. Okay, the voice responded at once. And Eddie felt more than agreement. He felt a kind of go-to-the-wall approval. It made him feel the way he felt when Henry hugged him, tousled his hair, punched him on the shoulder, and said, "You done good, kid. Don't let it go to your head, but you done good." "You know I'm clean." He stood up suddenly. So suddenly they moved back. He looked at the smoker who was closest to him. "And I'll tell you something, babe. If you don't get that coffin nail out of my face, I'm gonna knock it out." The guy recoiled. "You guys have emptied the crap tank in that plane already. God, you've had enough time to have been through it 3 times. You've been through my stuff. I bent over and let one of you stick the world's longest finger up my ass. If a prostate check is an exam, that was a motherfucking safari. I was scared to look down. I thought I'd see that guy's fingernail sticking out of my cock." He glared around at them. "You've been up my ass, you've been through my stuff, and I'm sitting here in a pair of jockeys with you guys blowing smoke in my faces. You want a blood test? Okay, bring in someone to do it." They murmured, looked at each other, surprised, uneasy.
But if you want to do it without a court order, Eddie said, whoever does it better bring a lot of extra hypos and vials, because I'll be damned if I'm going to piss alone. I want a federal marshal in here, and I want each one of you to take the same goddamn test, and I want your names and IDs on each vial, and I want them to go into that federal marshal's custody. And whatever you test mine for, cocaine, heroin, bennies, pot, whatever, I want those same tests performed on the samples from you guys, and then I want the results turned over to my lawyer. Oh boy, your
shit would be dirty as fuck.
And you know it.
You know it.
That's why I love Eddie. You know, so Bay and Hero have both read all the, as far as I know.
They read all of them?
Yeah, at least Beowulf.
Is Eddie like a permanent character?
Eddie's a long-time character. Okay. No.
So you've seen him, he's in book 4?
I'm not gonna spoilers. I can neither confirm nor deny that. But listen, he's definitely a major.
Do you see what I had to deal with?
He's definitely a major character. Okay. Now listen, I like a year or two ago I was talking with Bay, and I was like, I'm like Roland, and he's like, no, you're like Eddie, and I was like, fuck you, and he was like, don't even understand. It's not even an insult.
Because he's read the rest of the books, and you haven't. Well, Roland's an upstanding man without being a heroin addict, and Eddie is an upstanding man even being a heroin addict.
That's true.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, but you know, he's also a much lesser man just in general than Roland.
Nah, only because he chose heroin.
Well, just I don't really.
Roland could get.
I don't mean lesser in terms of. I don't mean lesser in terms of potential. I just mean lesser in terms of ability.
The world that.
Roland came from a very hard life, full of very hard lessons,
and it polishes men like Eddie. Eddie's world doesn't polish men like Eddie.
No, but if he lived in Roland's world,
he would be better than Roland. Okay,
maybe, yeah, or he'd be dead.
Yeah, no, he'd be. Yeah, he would have died a very glorious young death.
Yes, just like that's why Eddie.
But that still means he's a better man than Roland.
And Roland says so.
Yes.
He'll tell you to your face, Cuthbert was a better man than me.
Yeah.
That's who Eddie reminds him of, his old friend Cuthbert from his childhood. Whoever the fuck that was.
I'm sure he died a very glorious young death saving someone else.
Like the main character of Akame ga Kill.
Yes.
Like that.
Like that. Mm-hmm. I see a bench right there, right near a bunch of fucking geese shit, but
we can step around the goose shit. It's not like it smells. It's just a landmine.
Yeah.
There's a table right here.
That's better. It's in the grass.
Yeah.
And there's no geese shit near it.
And there's almost no distance to travel.
We have to deal with being near the geese themselves, but I don't mind.
We don't have food, so they should fuck off.
Yeah. Plus,
they're feeding.
Plus, we're strong enough to kill them, so easily,
even a whole pack.
Yeah, I could murder all of those birds right now if I tried to. With my bare hands. But why?
And go to jail for what?
Yeah, right. Literally go to jail for years.
Yeah.
For what?
For what? Let them attack me.
Yeah. If they want to die fighting me because they attacked me, that's a different story, dog.
But that's not going to happen. They have natural instincts. They know.
No. They know if they try to bite me, I'll kick them in the face. And and they'll be dead.
Even a human child does that. They know. If you try to bite a human child, it will run away and swat at you as much as they can.
Look how close those robins are, or whatever the fuck those birds are, to the geese. Like,
well, it's feeding time, you see.
Yeah. They're like, don't hog all the grass. We get to cheaply eat here too.
You can't have all the worms. Jeez. Fuck is wrong with you? So like, whatever, just don't come near me. Don't come within range.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm cheaply ready. I was born ready.
Alright.
I would say we could listen to the audiobook while we do this, but you absolutely can't.
Yeah. Very bad idea.
You're gonna fuck up listening to the audiobook,
Or I'm gonna fuck up
doing
chess.
the chess puzzle.
One or the other.
Most likely both.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hashtag nope on that.
Hashtag nope on that, Nidra. Hashtag nope on that. Even high-level chess players are stupid when they do that shit.
Yeah. Goal dilution.
Chess is very complex.
It takes full concentration.
Yeah, if you can't.
Even if you're a fucking grandmaster.
Yeah, even if you're the best in the world, you're not gonna be at the top of your game. Dangerously so, if you're not focusing with all of your intention.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, anytime Magnus Carlsen loses a game.
Make sure you bring the vape.
Okay. You should bring that whole tripod and set it up next to us on the table.
Alright.
Unplug Tessie, unplug TE. What did you tell me to do?
Bring the vape.
I would cheaply never forget such a thing.
I would never joke this.
I'm always joking. Bring the hotspot.
Which one? Which one?
Far one. No, the other table has less purple.
Right.
It's nice that it's a puzzle, so we actually should look at it from the same angle.
Mm-hmm.
Easily adjusted. So, if we had a generator, Deidre, we could fucking set up our PlayStation in moments like this.
Yeah, totally.
Like we could chill in park like we'd be chilling at home. Except it would cost way more hands.
We need a tripod.
I know.
Like ASAP.
I know.
I'm pretty sure they sell that shit for very cheap.
We should see what they cost at Walmart.
Yeah, we're going to the store after this into anyway, right?
I mean, we're low on money, so
Okay, so never mind then.
let's go and know what tripods cost.
Okay.
We're so low on money that we couldn't buy a tripod, but I might want to wait to do our shop.
Yeah. That's my phone. I
Get
can't
out
read.
your tablet. Juice it in the car.
Yeah.
Where in the car?
Both compartments.
I'll be right back.
You like nature? We want to move to Alaska.
What'd you say?
I was just talking to the stream.
Polite. Okay. Use your tablet. That's your tablet to log into the chess.com app.
I wonder if I have it.
Might have to download it. Stupid outside being stupidly too bright. But that's what we have the real chessboard for. What we have it
Or has to download this. Yeah.
Alright.
It's probably not going to rain heavily.
Okay, if it starts raining harder, we'll go in the car. Nothing that we have is really going to get very fucked up, but if it starts raining harder, it will. So.
There's barely any clouds in the sky.
Yeah, except
Although
there's
there
clouds
are
directly over us.
There are clouds coming from over there, but we might have time.
Let's see. This is your puzzle that you're on?
Mm-hmm.
Is this rated puzzles?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Help me set it up. Move slower. And that piece means king, not queen. This is a queen. You were right, it didn't really rain. I'm glad we didn't panic fire like I was going to. Plus, I don't really give a fuck if I get a rain down a little. The fuck? Oh, man. Don't blow over the pieces.
You're fine.
Okay, so this means that this pawn just moved from this square to this square. That's what that means. And now it's your turn as black.
Oh, man.
When you make a move on the board, I will make it on the screen and you'll see if it's correct.
Okay.
Take your time. It's always better to think hard. It's always good to feel confident about your answer before you give it. As much as you can, at least. It's black to move. I see the answer. What a lovely puzzle. Pinball, pinball. You're not done though. This piece moves here. What's next? Wrong. See? Your score went down 8.
Okay. What? Do I have to finish it or am I done?
Well, I'm just gonna retry. You can try again until you get it right. Bingo. That's because if you take it with the rook,
then this square isn't.
well, this is a checkmate position.
Yeah, well, this square wouldn't have been targeted if I would have taken it with this.
That's true, but on top of that, so in this position, it's not just this square. Whoops. It's not just this square, but also this square that is not threatened. But in this position, this piece threatens this square, and this square, and this piece still threatens this square. It's completely locked in.
Hi.
Hi. You still have 2 more chances. And the bright side is, the lower your score goes, the easier the puzzles get. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Take all the pieces out. Put all the white pieces on that side and all the black pieces on this side. I'll do the black pieces. Got it. No worries. Kuna Matata.
Right.
Black king. Now this time you're white, okay. Black king, white pawn, white king, more white pawn, times, and okay. This pawn just moved from here to here, and now it's your move with white. You understand the rules for queening pawns, right? Wait. There's a part here too.
What'd they do?
Height, check you. And you win. That was the end of the puzzle.
Cool.
So now you're 1 for 1. You could still have a winning record for the day, Deidre, even with only your cheaply 3 puzzles. If you insist on stopping after 3. Puzzle. Okay. And the white just moved their king from here to here. Black to move. Oh, I see it. I love puzzles like this. What's next after this move? Pimpo, pimpo. Are you stopping or keeping going?
I guess we can do.
Not a lot of pieces on the board for this one. Okay. White just moved their rook from here to here. Black to move. Da 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 da. Sure is. That was a one-move puzzle that time.
Sure.
Let's checkmate, you see.
No, I didn't see.
Hi, arimasu. Last puzzle this, last puzzle to you. Black just moved this rook from here to here. White to move. What a gorgeous puzzle. I love these low-level puzzles. Just so you know, though, the high-level puzzles are frequently very simple, too, once you see the answer. Nope. Retry. I got it. It's not a rook move. What?
I moved my king.
Oh, that's the wrong move. No. The correct move places the enemy in checkmate. Pimple.
I suck at this.
Everyone who learns sucks. Everyone who plays sucks. Even Magnus Carlsen sucks.
How many was that?
5.
Done.
Yep, you got 3 right and 2 wrong.
Bag.
And the one of the ones you got wrong, you got the first move correct, but then you got the second.
Yeah.
game that could mean the difference between winning and losing. Just getting the first move right, not even the second one. Now that Deidre's exhaustamified. Cheaply beautiful brain. Your cheaply beautiful hair. It's so fine. I love it. It definitely needs detangling though.
And I need it while I'm taking it out too. That's the main thing.
I really think my texturizer shiatsu would do something very similar to what you want, if not the thing you want. Can't pull it too hard though, because it'll just pull it out.
That's how hair is.
That's how hair that's that curly is.
And hair in general.
Well, yeah, but usually I just meant like I can't pull it hard enough to run my fingers through it.
No, if it's knotted, then it'll be like pulling it out.
Yours be knotting itself like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, mostly it's because I need a haircut. I have some really split ends. When my hair is healthy, you can run your fingers through it for the most part, although it's still curly, so it's not the same. But still,
no, I hear what you're saying. That makes sense.
The split ends are what really gets tangled.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It starts. If you notice, it's a lot easier to run your fingers through the hair at the top than it is at the bottom. It goes right through at the top.
Yeah.
Because that's where my healthy hair is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So all of my head is supposed to be like that. If I take care of my hair.
Yeah. Perfect sense. Made.
Now, these parts are like my crow's nest. It's so hard to keep that part healthy. But like this part,
just cut it off.
Yeah. Now this part, this, if you just right here, I can run my fingers right through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Gross ends.
I don't understand it.
Anyway, what is running? Well, I need to gather their shiatsu.
Now back to civilization.
Not that we were very far.
No, only a couple steps, but still. No climate control. Wind blowing, rain raining.
This didn't actually rain. It's about to pour.
Say what?
It's about to pour here.
What?
I said it's about to pour here.
Clouds are thickening.
Oh yeah.
Sucheth of clouds thickeneth.
couple packs of grown ducklings.
Ugly little fuckers. Not great stage jazz.
There's a pack over there that's like teenagers. There's like 3 different packs over there. It's crazy.
You have to take the cheese home. We're not going to the grocery store.
So we don't have to go home. Severe thunderstorm warning.
Oh, no shit.
I'm glad we finished our chest before it started fucking down.
Now we have less than 12 hours to 4 a.m. What do you want to listen to?
Well, assuming you're not in the mood for politics, we can go back to the normal.
No, I'm usually not in the mood for politics. I just do it because you want me to do it for the most part.
What was that last couple words?
For the most part. Too tired.
If you feel too tired, then it's probably not a great idea.
stream.